They looked at me as if I slaughtered a cow in front of them.
He was nominated for a Tony for being in the original cast of the wildly successful Broadway musical The Book of Mormon. He was a sentient singing snowman in the mega hit Frozen. He was a correspondent for The Daily Show, and now genuine, honest-to-God triple threat Josh Gad is starring as Disney's first openly gay character, LeFou, in the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast. But it's been a long road to success for Gad, including a stint right here in Australia when he was younger, studying at NIDA. And not all of that journey has been all that easy.
Josh, thanks so much for talking to us.
My pleasure, thank you.
So, the performer's life, you have successes and you have things that don't work out so well, and I was listening to a fascinating story about your attempt to audition for Juilliard, the musical school. Why was it so bad? Why was it such a bad audition? What happened?
Pride.
Pride, right.
Right? So what happened was I went in there and you have to do 2 monologues. You have to do a modern piece and you have to do a Shakespeare or classical piece. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna blow their mind. Juilliard ain't never seen anything like this. And the response was one of violent silence. They looked at me as if I slaughtered a cow in front of them. And I don't know if you've ever seen anyone improv Shakespeare before, but I literally forgot all of the lines and started improvising in verse. And I said after it ended, I'll just show myself out. But it was a good lesson. I sort of was like, you don't have the talent yet or the skill to not be humble and modest about what you do. I was fortunate enough to go to Carnegie Mellon, which was an outstanding school, and equally fortunate to study at NIDA here.
You've got the girl, everything just like you wanted.
And my time in Australia really suddenly made everything click for me, because the approach to drama here had a practicality to it that was accessible for me. I understood what I had to do.
F you to Heavenly Father! Holy moly, I said it like 13 times!
After years of playing Book of Mormon on Broadway, I'm wondering, do you ever miss the nightly applause?
Every day.
What can you do to get it back?
I pay people to applaud me when I walk into a room.
That seems like a worthwhile expense.
Yeah, and it works.
Definitely a tax deduction of some kind, I'm sure.
I'll tell you what, Beauty and the Beast comes closest to it. It's pretty insane to now watch this movie and the audience suddenly erupts at the end of Gaston as if we're gonna jump out of the screen and bow.
You should. Just one screening, just leap out of the screen to see what happens.
Much more than the sum of his parts like Gaston. As a specimen, yes, an intimidating.
You're of the right age. What was the Disney movie of that golden age that meant the most to you?
Okay. Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and The Lion King all hold a very special place in my heart. Having said that...
You've couched this very carefully, okay.
Aladdin.
Right, what was it about Aladdin?
Robin Williams as the genie. It was one of those performances that leaves this indelible mark on your childhood where you can't shake it. I saw that movie probably 5 to 10 times in the theater.
You're right.
Because it was one of the greatest special effects I've ever seen.
Hello, Aladdin. Nice to have you on the show. Can we call you Al, or maybe just Din? Or how about Laddie? Sounds like, here, boy. Come on, Laddie.
What he did with his voice, what he did to bring this otherworldly energy to that character, it was monumental for me. And it really did leave this mark that I think in many ways informed my choices as Olaf in Frozen. And I was very fortunate because when I was doing Book of Mormon, Robin and I were living in the same building.
Really?
And I got to thank him personally.
And what did he say?
He goes, "Who are you?" I don't know what you want from me. And he wrote me one of the loveliest letters that I have ever received. And I have it at home. And it's personal, but it was amazing to come full circle and get to say that to an icon.
The breaking news just into CNN is that actor Robin Williams is dead at the age of 63.
Robin Williams has been confirmed dead. He was 63 years old.
I have personally never witnessed, other than very few times, the sudden loss of an entertainment icon leave that kind of wake in its path. Robin's work will live on long after most of us are gone. And I think that that's the greatest thing you can hope for as a performer.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjour.
There goes the baker with his tray, like always. The same old bread and rolls to some.
Earlier this year, you marched in the Women's March in London, I understand. Why was that important to you to do?
First and foremost, I have 2 daughters. I want them to grow up in a world where there are no glass ceilings to shatter. And I think that now more than ever, there is a real need to understand not only equal opportunity for women, but equal opportunity, period. I think it's one of the many things that I love about Beauty and the Beast. At the core, you have this incredibly powerful female lead that is fiercely independent, intelligent. Her superpower is that she reads nonstop. I can't tell you how thrilling that is to be able to share that with my girls. On the other end of the spectrum, you have a character like Gaston. He feeds on prejudice. He feeds on fear. He uses that fear to stimulate a group of people who have never met this person that they're afraid of, but have this seed that's been planted in their heads that because he's different, he's dangerous. That today is as, unfortunately, as relevant as it was when the piece was written 300 years ago.
I'm mostly impressed at your ability to get through that whole thing without saying Trump.
Who?
I don't know. I don't know who we're talking about at all. No, I'm actually impressed. Josh, it was nice to talk to you.